This video is titled Using Zoom as a Meeting Attendee. This video will address how to use some of the Zoom features and controls and configure the viewing screen for the meeting attendee. Please view the separate video that addresses the two ways of joining a Zoom meeting, whether it be using the hyperlink or meeting ID and password. This video assumes that you have successfully joined the meeting and are ready to work with the Zoom control features. So on first entering the meeting, the screen will appear as shown here. And note that to limit distraction, the video has been turned off for both the host and the attendee. And this is considered a gallery view where the two video screens would be posted side by side. There are other configurations that we'll discuss here in a little bit. It's recommended that the Zoom toolbar be displayed at all times for simplicity. And this is done simply by pressing the alternate key or ALT key one time. So after the key is pressed, the Zoom toolbar will display as shown. And it can be hidden again by pressing the alternate key once more if desired. So now let's discuss configuring the video screen views. First, we'll address how to configure the screen for various views of the host and the attendee's view of themselves. The attendee's view of themselves can be changed or turned off if preferred. If the attendee does not wish to view themselves on screen during the meeting, do the following. Click on the icon in the upper right corner of the screen to enter the full screen mode. The screen will look about the same, but the lower PC control bar will be covered up and the Zoom screen will cover the entire window. Click on the speaker view icon as shown here in the upper right corner. And once you click on that, the attendee's video display will be minimized as shown, but will still be visible to them as shown here. And in this case, we have the camera turned off, but this is what the box would look like, which would contain, or the window would look like, that would contain the attendee's picture. To turn the attendee's video display off altogether without turning off the camera, it's just turned off here for convenience sake of making this video. Click on the little dashed line here at the top of the video display window. And in doing so, it will transition to this where it indicates the talking. Okay, and it closes off the video window altogether. But the attendee will still be visible to the meeting host as long as their video is turned on. And we'll discuss how that's done here in a little bit. If the attendee does not care about viewing their own image during the meeting, it's left to them to find out the desired view by changing to gallery view or speaker view. And you change between those two with this here. What we're showing here right now is the speaker view. Gallery view is what we looked at when you first entered the meeting. So I can toggle between those two just by clicking on this icon. And the video windows views can be also changed by entering or exiting the full screen mode. So that's this icon here in the upper right corner. So if you exit full screen mode, if you notice we have the attendee video screen right here. If we exit that full screen mode, it shifts over to the center here. And this is in the closed down view mode. So feel free to experiment with the screen configuration until you find one that's comfortable for you as the attendee or the person that you are assisting. So let's talk about the Zoom control bar. Zoom control bar at the bottom of the screen includes various features as follows. First is that you can mute your audio by clicking on the microphone in the bottom left corner. And when it is muted, you will see a red slash through the microphone. That would mean that it's muted. And as you can see here, that red slash would look just like this for the video. Note that you can unmute your audio temporarily by pressing the space bar on the keyboard of your computer, and it will mute again when released. So when temporarily unmuted, you will see this icon displayed. It's pretty clearly indicated here, and the red slash through the microphone would disappear. You can turn off the video from your computer's camera by clicking on the video camera icon. And again, the red slash through here indicates that the video is off, and the screen name will be displayed as shown in the blacked out window here. In this case, the host has the main screen here and their video is turned on, but the host would have control of that, not you. Okay, moving along, you can change your screen name if needed by clicking on the participant's icon. So if for some reason somebody else used the computer and they had a different name in here than what you would like, or if you put the wrong name in, you put your formal name in, wanted a nickname in there, whatever the case might be, you have the option of changing that. So having clicked on the participants icon here, a pop-up screen will appear either in the center or off to the side of the viewing window, and you hover the cursor over your name, click on the more, and then it'll come up with the rename button here. So click on that, and then you'll be able to input the new name that you want to have in there, and that will display on your video screen. If the video were turned on, it would be down on the bottom of the screen as the host name is shown here. And then that would also change how it's displayed here in the participants window. So to close the participants box, just click on the red X in the upper right corner. And for the remaining features on the control bar there, the screen share, record, and reaction features are not likely to be utilized in a routine session and are not discussed in detail in this video. And we will look at the chat feature here in a moment. So now we'll talk about volume adjustment. If you're assisting someone who's setting up Zoom so that they can meet after you leave the room, ensure that the volume is acceptable to them before you leave. Or just if you want to adjust the volume to your own comfort, if you are the meeting attendee, you can do so as follows. The volume on the attendee's computer can be adjusted by clicking on the volume icon on the bottom toolbar as follows. Now this is the PC toolbar. This is not the Zoom toolbar that we're referencing. So you must exit the full screen view in Zoom to be able to view the volume control on the computer's taskbar or toolbar at the bottom of the screen. And as we said before, exiting full screen, you just click on this icon shown here as pointed out with the red arrow. And if you note, the PC screen is not showing at this point. So once that is clicked, the PC control bar shows up. And then to adjust the volume, click on the speaker icon down here as encircled. If you see a red X, if you see an X next to the speaker icon, the computer system is muted. So click on that to unmute it. Then you can adjust the volume up and down just by moving this sliding indicator here to the right or to the left. So moving it left is going to decrease the volume, moving it to the right is going to increase it. And note that your volume icon might look slightly different depending on which Windows operating system is installed on your computer. Some will display a vertical slide for volume adjustment up and down, and the mute icon may look slightly different, such as a circle with a slash through it. And the same thing would go for that. If you want to unmute, you just click on that icon and it should disappear. So once the volume's adjusted, you can return to the screen view that was set up earlier by returning to full screen view. So now let's talk about using the chat feature. In situations where verbal communication is difficult for the attendee, it may be necessary for the clinician to communicate using the chat function included with Zoom. Chat function is enabled as follows, starting at the new meeting, at the meeting view screen. So here we have the chat icon down here. To open that, just click on that icon. Chat window will open up, and it does default with a smaller font, which can be difficult to read. To increase the font size, press and hold the control key on the keyboard, and then press the plus key as you're holding the control key down. Font size will increase for each press of the key up to 200%. And this is 200%. You can see that the font is much easier to read. To reduce the font size, press and hold the control key on the keyboard, and then press the minus key. The font size will decrease for each press of the key down to 80% of the default size. And take note of this, your ability to change a font size may not work, as it appears to have been disabled in one of the recent Zoom software updates. I would recommend continue trying to change the size as described, as it's expected that they will re-enable it in a subsequent software update. And if you want to move the chat screen around, you can click on this upper section here and drag it to a different part of the screen. You can enlarge the size or resize it by grabbing a corner here, holding down the mouse key and expanding it one way or the other. Or you can have it fill the full screen by clicking on the rectangle in the upper corner here. Then finally, to close the chat box, you can close it by clicking on the dash in the upper right corner or click on the X. So at that point, the clinician and attendee could then proceed with their session once you have that all situated where you want it. Next thing we're going to talk about is leaving the meeting. To leave the meeting, when finished, do the following. Click on the leave icon in the lower right corner. And then you will click on the leave meeting icon that pops up. And having done that, you will have successfully exited the meeting. Now, for a special case of back-to-back attendees using the same device, this could happen in long-term care facilities or somewhere where there's congregate living, and there may be multiple clients or attendees who need to meet with the same clinician or host. It's not necessary to leave the meeting while moving the computer between clients. Once the session is completed, the meeting can be left open while transferring the computer to the next client. But it's advisable to first turn off the audio and the video as follows. And this is just a review of what we've already talked about. Click on the mute and stop video icons so that the red strike lines appear through through both the microphone and the camera icon. And remember, the red strike through indicates that you are muted and that your video is turned off. Computer can now be moved to the next person to attend the meeting with the clinician, and the audio and video resume by clicking on their respective icons. This is the last meeting for the day, or for an extended period. The meeting can be exited as described previously in this video and rejoined at a later time. So this concludes this video presentation on Zoom features for those attending a Zoom meeting for telecounseling or consultation. If you're having difficulty with any portion of this process, please contact your meeting host or TCS representative, Chris Killian, at 419-584-8535.